and welcome to this special edition of In the Labs with me, Becky. Now in this video I'm going to show you how to create this slot together reindeer. Okay, so it's a real simple project. It just consists of vectors and 2D toolpaths, really quick to cut, and then the beauty of this project is that as it's all 2D, when you assemble it, it comes to life in the form of this kind of stand-up sculpture, which would be perfect for somewhere like the side of a fireplace. So we'll go in the software and we'll look at how we created this. Okay, so in terms of the file, so we'll just take a look at how I created this. So I started off by just drawing out the rough side profile of a reindeer. So we've got the main body, we've got two legs, and then what I've done is I've actually split up the side profile with a series of lines, and these lines basically represent where I want to slot in the front facing parts, and with each one of these lines they actually match up to a corresponding shape that you can see over on the left hand side. Okay, so this shape matches up with this line here, so if you go to the measure tool and if you use span or contour properties, we can see that we've got 3.4173, 3.4173. And so by using the exact same length of line, we're able to then create the front facing part, knowing that when we ultimately come to slot it together, it's going to take up that whole space there. So that's why we're doing that, just so that we can ensure that we are working with accurate measurements and that it all matches up. So I've done that for all of these. Now there is a video that I've done that goes into how to create slot together animals in much more detail, and that's the Zootopia project that I created for the Vectric 2020 user group meeting. So I'll link you up to that video in the description, so you can take a look at that to learn all about the ins and outs and the hows and whys I'm doing all of these things. But for this, I'm just going to give you the file and I'm just going to tell you what you need to edit according to your material thickness, so you can just get that on the machine and get it going. So this is pretty much all of the parts. So then with those parts, I then edited the slot sizes. So you can see now that all of those lines that you saw that represent those slots are now split in two at the halfway point. It's just the easiest way to divide them up. You can divide them up how you want, but for me, I just find it super easy just to split them in half. And so we're going to be cutting into all of the lines that you can see here, whereby we will create slots for them shortly, and those slots will enable us to slot the alternate part, the front facing part that matches up to those side profiles. Okay, so those are just your slot positions, and then we've got the actual slot sizes. So this is the layer that you're going to edit, okay, and it's going to be edited according to your material thickness. This is a slot together project. You need to ensure that your slots match up to the material thickness that you are using. So in this case, my slots all come up at 0.17 inches wide, as that's the material that I'm using. So all you'd need to do is go in here, go to the set selected object size tool, where you'd set your anchor point in the center of that rectangle. You're going to uncheck link XY, and you're just going to alter this value to your material thickness. And you're going to do that for all of the slots and make sure you don't miss any of those out. And once you've done that, you then need to fillet those slots, because we're cutting into those slots using a round tool. We need to ensure that we can cut out all of the corners. Now round tools can't cut into corners, and that's why we need to make use of the fillet tool to ensure that our round tool can actually come in and cut those corners. Now ideally, I'd prefer to use dog bone fillets. It just so happens that the material I'm using is 0.17 inches thick. The smallest tool I've got is an 1/8 of an inch, so that they are very close in terms of their width, so I can't get my 1/8 inch tool to create those dog bone fillets that for me look much more desirable. You can't really see, there's no evidence of those fillets there when you use dog bone fillets. I can't fit those in the dog bone fillets, so I'm using T-bone fillets, which you are able to actually see those slots. For example, I've got a test piece here, and you're able to actually see when the two come together, you can see the actual holes, which isn't too bad, it's not a problem, but in an ideal world I'd recommend that you use dog bone fillets. So you're going to do that to clear out your internal corners. Not only that, what you want to do as well is just extend all of these slots outwards, because we are pocketing them, and so we don't want to be left with the cusping effects that we're going to get from the tool cutting into the original slot vector. So just pull them out a little bit to ensure that we actually cut past there. Okay, and then what I did was I then duplicated the legs so that we have 4 sets of legs, and then I simply nested them. If you are using desktop, that's fine, you can just lay them out yourself, ready to machine. So I used the nested tool to basically nest all of my vectors. I've got 2 extra parts here that I want to use to do my test cuts. It's very vital that you do test cuts to check that you've measured everything correctly and that your allowances that you're going to apply on your pocket toolpath are perfect for your slot together fit, so it's not too tight, neither is it too loose. Right, and so with everything laid out, let's take a look at the toolpath. So you can see I've got pocket test cuts, so if we just double click on there, you can see we're pocketing the slots there. I'm cutting all the way through the material using an 1/8 inch end mill. Okay, I'm just doing that in an offset strategy, and I'm putting in an allowance here of -0.005. It's just a number that always works for me, so that's why I'm going with that. But this is crucial that you also try this, and if you find it's too loose, you want to just tighten that up. If it's too tight, then you want to increase that value. And that's just going to overcut it by this amount that we've got within this allowance. Okay, and then in terms of that, we'll preview that, it's just a pocket cut, and then we'll move on to the profile cut. So we're cutting the actual leg stands out. So if we double click in there, you can see we're cutting all the way through using the same tool on the outside. I've got no tabs here. I'm using double-sided tape to hold everything down, just so that I don't have to detab all of these intricate parts. Okay then, so I'll just close out here, and then we've got the, and then you'd run those files, so you'd make sure that you're happy with your test cuts. If you're happy with that, then you can apply those same settings for everything else. So we've got the pocket for the slots, and we've got the profile cut out for everything else, and so it should look something like this. So we'd run the test cuts for the pocket, okay, just simple lines, profile cut for the test cut. There you go, there's your cutout, and then we've got the pocket for the slots, like so, and then we've got the profile cutout. And if we double click the waste material, we're going to be left with parts that look something like this, okay? And then you can go ahead and save out your toolpath. So in this case, we could just select all of them, just for ease of use. I'm going to use visible toolpaths to multiple files. We're using the same tool, so we're just going to save that toolpath out, and it's just going to basically save all of those individual toolpaths out for us. I'm doing that purely because I want to make sure we do our test cuts first. I don't want to run these all together, and then we're going to do the slots and the cutout afterwards. Right then, so let's head over to the labs. So here we are just using double-sided carpet tape just to spar in the line our MDF, ready for us to use that as our hold down method. And I'm lining that up to the machine, and then just for extra security I'm just going to screw in 4 screws just to ensure that that sheet does not move. So first 2 toolpaths we're running is the test cut. So we've got a pocket pass as well as a profile cutout, and we're just testing those 2 little legs. Here all I want to do is just check for the fit of the 2 as they slot together, which they slotted together perfectly. So I was happy with the settings we had there, and that enabled us to run all of the other toolpaths, so the pocket toolpaths for all of the slots, as well as the profile toolpath for all of the reindeer shapes. So where I'd machined into the MDF, there was a tiny skin of material left over, so here I'm just cleaning that up with a little bit of a sanding block. Then we're now ready to assemble the reindeer, so getting all of the parts, ensuring they're in the right places, and then just bringing it all together. And again, like I said earlier, the real nice thing about slot together projects is you have lots of 2D parts, and then when you bring it all together, it's really cool to see it all come to life in this standing kind of sculpture form. So with that all assembled, it was time to spray this up with some silver spray paint. So I didn't prime this. I figured if I just go ahead and just spray it silver, might take a few coats, which actually it really didn't. It was just one coat that we applied here, and it was enough that it really gave it a lot of coverage, which I was really happy about. So here's the finished part. Okay, so if you fancy having a go at creating your own slot together reindeer, then simply head over to your V&Co account where you can download the project files from there. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and if you've not yet subscribed to our channel, then please hit the subscribe button for instant updates on the latest videos that we'll be releasing. So thank you for watching and happy making.